Welcome back, everyone, to IndieX 2023. I'm Anna. I'll be your host for this upcoming hour, and we're having an interesting discussion about The Occultist, the upcoming first person horror sensation. To help me go through all the details about it, I'm joined today by David, CEO of Pentakill Studios. Thank you so much for being here. How are you feeling? How excited are you to be here today?
I'm super excited about this interview. I'm pretty sure that it will be great.
Well, before heading into the game discussion, I would love to hear a little bit more about you, David, about Pentakill Studios, which is the culminating of years of experience. Am I right?
Yes, we always say that the company started in 2021, but the real story is that we really started on 2014 as a video games school here in Valladolid, pretty close to you. And during 2014 until now, we've been combining teaching for students that want to dedicate to video games
Oh.
job, and we also did some works like hardware gaming, mobile applications, VR, AR,
Oh.
architectural visualization, etc. And both activities allowed us to reach the initial funding to start the
Mhm.
studio. And on 2021, when we had all the initial money we needed, we started.
Yeah, yeah. And as far as I'm aware, you heavily invested in equipment and technology, trying to have the workflow similar of a AAA game studio, but in an indie format. I want not only to know why, but how and what kind of technology are we talking about here?
Well, other things that we focused at the very beginning is to try to multiply the funds. I mean, when where we are, we have some public grants. If you invest any amount of money into your company, there are some grants to make this investment more powerful. I mean, you can invest the 50% and the other 50% from a council, or, for example, you can earn more money only
Hmm.
if you invest on investigation, development,
Yeah.
stuff in the company. So that's we've started
Oh.
like this. We prepared a budget for good equipment. I mean, computers, also mocap suits for the
Oh.
creation of the cinematics, the in-game
Yeah.
animations of the own character. And now we are also looking to get a better mocap suit, and also to have two, for because we have some cinematics in which two characters are at the same time doing some stuff. So yeah, and we
Yeah.
are
Okay.
like repeating all the cycle. We are preparing the budget for present it to the public grants, and then
Okay.
hopefully to decrease a bit the budget with the grants.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty interesting because that is something unusual to try to go this big. But David, I want to know a little bit more about you. You are the CEO of the studios, and what's your role?
Yeah,
Be be one of the, the people that
yeah.
has the most
I
to do in the.
I am. I have also the same question because sometimes I don't really know what's my specific role in the studio. But yeah, now I was the first one. I mean, I was the one who wrote the backstory. Also, I did it. I did a very little demo from assets from internet, and that's
Okay.
the initial prototype that I went to investors to obtain the initial funding too.
Okay.
But now I split a bit into directing tasks, supervising, producing, and also help in terms of game
Mm-hmm.
design and narrative dialogues. My background, I am a 3D artist. That's and a VFX artist. But
Okay.
nowadays, I'm not doing anything related to what I studied.
But at least you can communicate what you want those artists also to do and how they can work on your project. Now, Asphodel here is saying on chat that we can notice you are in a recording studio. Does Pentakill own its own recording studio?
Yes, yes, absolutely. One of the things, and I think it's powerful to us is that we are sharing the same facilities as the school, the initial
Oh.
school, the 2014 ones. So yeah, here where we are in a big office of 300, more than 300 square meters of size, and we are sharing the same facilities. My partners are two rooms in my right.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, also the mocap room is the mocap room for of the school. This is the professional sound recording studio for the school and also for the studio. And yeah, that's the reason I am here, and obviously because of the quality of the sound that I hope
Yeah.
it's well.
Well, yeah, and it's definitely pretty nice to make sure that you are in synergy with the school, in synergy with people that really want to make video games, as you mentioned earlier, and providing some tools both for you, Pentakill Studios, and for the students and for the people who want to go through this kind of career or to have this kind of experience to know what they can expect. Now, let's talk a bit about the occultist. We won't be playing the game in this session, but that doesn't mean that we can talk a lot about it. It's been receiving awards after awards, and after what I've seen and read, it's pretty understandable. We can see here some of the images, some of the trailers of the game. The first thing that I want to ask you is, in one or two sentences, how would you describe it?
Narrative, dead people, and unique mechanics.
Okay. That's
We can
that's
talk
that's
more.
a pretty yeah. We definitely need to talk about more. Um, from the storytelling perspective, what is the occultist about? What can you tell us about the main thematics that you want?
Well, you play in a role of a guy called Alan, and he's capable to interact and to talk with deaf people. And also, his job is like a problem solver of paranormal cases. He goes through haunted houses and try to contact with the other side and to help the people that lives
Mhm.
nowadays in the house. But what really happens in the occultist in the game, I mean, is that his father, Alan's father, has suddenly disappeared without
Okay.
any trace. And in the past, since he was a child, his father talked to him about an island, a fictional island called GodStone, and now he thinks that he could be there. So the game starts with Alan going into this island, and what he doesn't know, and also the player doesn't know, well, I suppose until now, is that this island is inhabited by ghosts, by deaf people, with the chance that you are able to contact and to interact with them. So
Mm-hmm.
at the end, the main objective of the game is to know if your father is on the island, and
Okay.
at the end, to we want the player to explain what happened in the island
Mm-hmm.
in the past. That I think is the one of the unique selling points of the game, the narrative behind the game.
Yeah, yeah, and from what again what I've read, you have rituals based on different cultures and religions, and this must have been a lot of research. Where did this idea come from, and how did you develop the idea of the whole story behind it and the island story?
I love this question. The first thing was I met a guy a real guy, I mean, who is able to talk with deaf people. It's a bit weird the situation, but imagine you are with him talking normal, like we are talking, you and me, and
Mm-hmm.
I suddenly stop the conversation and I start to say, "Hey, I'm seeing a blonde old woman behind you. She's called Christine," and you start to realize that it is your grandma, or maybe you have not met her, but you start to recognize, and I start to give you more and more data, specific data, and it was the thing. This guy, the thing is that he's he has he doesn't have a big an interesting appeal to, I mean, to be a character from a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I took from him these special capabilities, maybe, and I converted it on Alan, on the main character of the occultist.
Okay, okay, that's pretty cool. But then, how did that develop into this idea and into those different cultures, those different religions, and everything behind um, the occultist?
Yeah, yeah. All the story behind was written in during the COVID epoch, in which we were locked at home. So
Mm,
in my case, I had time to work on it, to test ideas. One of the things I had clear at the very beginning is want to create a horror game. We are an indie studio. We don't want to offend anyone. I mean, cultures, religions, etc.
yeah.
So let's try to create something different. And the ritual and everything that surrounds the story of the game is everything is fictional. There are not any picture or images or anything that could be related to
Mm-hmm.
any specific culture or religion. So yeah, everything is on the
Okay.
imaginarium, I suppose.
Okay, that is pretty nice and pretty thoughtful of you to make sure that that you go through all of this and that you don't um, offend anyone and go the extra mile to make sure that everything is okay for everyone. Now, in terms of horror, it seems there is something really interesting about this game as well because this is a different way to explore the story. You chose the first person perspective, but also the pendulum. So no weapon. What can we
Yeah.
expect from this?
Well, first of all, I think in terms to make the player more involved in a horror game, uh, I think it's a personal opinion, but I think the first person is the thing that works well, or works best in this.
Yeah.
Also, maybe in a future, if we do a VR port, for us, it's
Ooh.
going to be easier, because of the logic of the character.
Yeah.
It's horror, but sometimes we prefer to say that it's a dark game.
Okay.
There is a lot of horror. There are people who are deaf. Also, we have scary moments, not three jump scares.
Okay.
We investigated a lot of good games and bad games, and we tried to avoid, and we have read tons of comments of people that writes on
Okay.
the on YouTube gameplays in order to know what people likes, what people doesn't like. and obviously jump scares is one of the things that the games with these players try to avoid. So
Yeah.
we prefer to create a dark story with the scary moments, but also action, stealth. That's absolutely true. One of the things that the at the first we try also to avoid is to do the same as everyone.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, it was going to be a walking simulator. With a pendulum, but you only walk and you hear sounds and you investigate and no more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in that moment we decide not to use weapons because there are tons
Yeah.
of games with guns, and when you give a shotgun, I leave all the scary things of a game. I feel
Yeah.
extremely more comfortable, and that's the reason we avoid weapons. And obviously, to do something different, this guy I was talking to before, he goes with a pendulum in real life. The one
Mm-hmm.
who can see deaf people, he goes with a pendulum, but he uses it as a tool for meditating to focus on, but obviously not for looking through and this kind of stuff. He uses like a glass ball that there are some people who goes with a crystal ball. You can look anything up in the ball. You use this object or any object to focus your everything, to focus your mind, to concentrate, and to increase
Mm-hmm.
your powers.
Yeah.
So that also was a reference. He goes with a pendulum, and I saw that there are no many games with a pendulum as one of the other unique selling points. And we started to think about 5 ways to possibly use a mystical pendulum, and these are the mechanics of the game.
Okay. 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 Can you tell me more about those 5 ways? I'm not sure that
Yeah,
if you
I
can explore a little bit
yeah
further.
yeah I can talk about the ones that appears on the video, but the
Okay.
pendulum is made of a glass and a skull bone, and one of the things that through the pendulum you can look at special moments in the past in order to obtaining clues,
Okay.
resolve puzzles, to tell the story. We are also trying to avoid notes to tell things because
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very easy to say, I want the
Yeah.
player to know this in this part of the game. Okay, so I create a note, I write down everything that I want the player to know, and it's a poor way to tell something to the game. So we
Yeah.
prefer to make Alan capable to look through the glass and to reveal special objects, as I said, clues and
Memories.
different things, but from the past.
Yeah.
Other of the mechanics that in the video can be seen is that you can change the actual the temporal state of specific objects for the same reason, for obtaining clues, taking things, or maybe you can't pass through in a corridor because there is some obstacle. You can move or you can change the temporal state of this obstacle in order to be able to pass
Mhm.
and to continue to carry on the way.
And that is something very different from other video games, as you mentioned, because this is a different way to try to approach the story, try to approach the mystery, as you mentioned, and try to have this eerie thing. It's not about jump scares, but this contributes you to be wary of where you're going and to have that tense feeling. And I think that is a pretty creative way to tackle down a video game. Now, there was here one question in the chat from Asphodel saying that since The Occultist is a narrative game and a horror game, in a sense, do you think that streaming or those kind of YouTube series can ruin the sales? Taking in account that some players might skip buying it if they can just watch.
Well, maybe it's not a game for all the people, but if you are a player like me or maybe like the rest of my teammates, that we want to enjoy a game, I mean, it's not also going to be extremely long in terms of timing. It will be last from 10 to 12 hours, more or less. But I want each minute to be a value,
Yeah.
a value for you, for the player. So yeah, I prefer games of 5 hours, but with a lot of content, a good
Yeah.
narrative, rather than 100 of gameplay and going from one side to the other side of the map. These are some of the things, and also because of the people we are in the team, that we are very few people. There are some of the things we try to avoid. It's not a small map, because all the game happens in an island with 5 different zones, with buildings, with different characters, etc. But maybe it's not an open world game with in which you have to go from one part of the country to the other point.
Yeah, I think I'm totally with you on this one, because I would much prefer something smaller but heavier, or at least with more to explore, and more to really go into the world, go into the little details. And I think from what we can see here from the trailers, it's exactly what you're aiming for with this game. Now, we've seen Ghosts, Mystery, all the non-combat game, all of this with amazing visuals. And I want to hear a little bit more about the way you created this kind of.
Well, as I suppose, as everyone, everything starts on a paper. The areas, the ambience, also the lighting, and a bit of dressing of the game is written on a paper. We test it, and if everything works well in terms of it's interesting, we start working on the map at the very beginning, the same on a paper, on a top view, and then one of the things we do is to play. We print all the maps in a very huge paper, and we go with a small character going through the different parts of the map, in order to see if we put here an enemy, if it's interesting, if it's not, if it's enough distance to go from one side to another. And if everything works well, yeah, we also put here you have to take an object and you have to put it there. Here you are going to meet a new character, and everything is made on a paper with a small figures. And when everything works well, also for us it's like to play, but with real things, and also to avoid at the end possible things that we have missed. For example, I don't know, I haven't thought about this door, and this door is opened and it shouldn't. Okay. As everything is tested on analog in an analog way, then everything should work well. And then with the map, with everything written, then we start to make the concept art. Everything is created in 2D. testing, lighting, testing, also dressing, and when it's perfectly approved, then we start to work on the 3D side. Well, we also first create the blocking. I mean, all the
Yeah.
levels in a raw way, with gray boxes, etc. For testing the game in a second phase.
Yeah.
Is not the analog one. Is a more in-depth way to test the game,
Of course.
to know if the places, if the rooms, or if the areas are well sized, or not, or we have to increase or decrease some areas. We also put some of the puzzles, like placeholders with text. Here we
Yeah.
is a puzzle. Here you're going to take some objects, and we also test it, and we measure the time to know more
Okay.
about how long is going to be each area. And when everything is well, we start doing the beauty or the graphic
Yeah.
and final of the game. Here, with all the pictures, the concept art our mates have done, it's easy because we just
Yeah.
have to copy what they have done.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of softwares, we are using Unreal Engine 5. The project started in Unreal Engine 4,
Okay.
and we migrated the game previous year. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you just thank you so much for your insight on the development process, because it's really interesting that you start like in this board game analogic experience, like with the miniatures and everything, and then translated that into the virtual phase with all those. I also want to talk a little bit about the sound design, about the voice acting, and about the music. So I can't gloss over the fact that the Ellen is Geralt of Rivia from the tree, and we've heard from the trailers that the soundtrack and the sound design, it looks pretty cool, and it's something so important for horror game horror pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. Sincerely, one of the roles that we don't have now in the studio is a sound designer. We are looking for someone that can help us to reach the sound and the ambience we want to achieve in the game. All the sound of the game has been made by our concept artist, by Kevin. He is not his tasks, but he has put all the sounds of the demo of the game, and it works extremely well. But we need someone in this role, and one of the initial things is I wanted Alan to have a dark and deep voice. He's young, but he has lived a lot of situations, investigations, etc. And yeah, I wanted a very deep voice.
Yeah.
And obviously, I am a extremely huge fan of The Witcher 3. Hopefully, in someday, the Occultist can be compared to The Witcher in terms of
Mhm.
taking care of everything. There are extremely opposite or different styles or genres of games, but I do really love the way that in this case CD Projekt took care about everything, the music, the voices, the
Yeah.
acting, the dialogues, everything. And I want to be reminded for the same thing in the Occultist. And one of the things that I really love about The Witcher 3 is the voice
Of
acting.
course.
In this case, by Doc Cockwell, who is an extremely great guy. and it's extremely very easy to work with him. Um, it was very simple. I just wrote him an email. Hi Doc, we are an indie studio. We are not CD Projekt, but I need your voice. Okay, let's have a quick meet. Let's have a quick call. Tell me more about the game. And we had the first one in 2021. It was, and I showed him the material we had. We had a very few material, but he told me, "I'm in, man. I'm in the project." And we started to record the first voices, the first voiceovers of the game, and the game is
Wow.
very good, but with his voice, and he also has helped me a lot to because at the end I am not an English speaker. I know what I want Alan to say, but if I
Yeah,
want it to say with the appeal I want, I think a native person,
of
and
course.
Doc is, must do it. And also Doc, he's a voice actor, but he's also actor, scripter, and director. So
Oh,
he is the one who has helped me to achieve the, the appeal, the final appeal of Alan. And
wow.
the other important thing is the music.
Yes.
Is pretty. Now we are fully working on the original soundtrack, and pretty the same. I am a huge fan of Pepe Herrero. He's orchestra director, music composer of extremely big celebrities here in Spain, and also international people. And the same, I wrote him an email. Hey, Pepe, we're working on a game. I know that you have created soundtracks for films, movies, short films, and a lot of artists. But do you want to create the soundtrack for a video game? He told me, "Man, it's the first time I do it, but I love the project. I'm in." And
Fantastic.
we have not shared anything about his music, but it's going to be extremely amazing.
Well, I can imagine. I really can imagine, and the way that everything is coming together, at least from what we can see, it's pretty nice. Now, I've read in Game Reactor that The
Yeah,
Occultist might end up getting a movie adaptation. Um,
yeah,
I know you probably can't tell us much about it, but is there something that you can tease in this regard?
yeah. Well, pretty. This, it was more a random situation, sincerely, and it
Oh,
was thanks also to Pepe, the music man, as he had been working on films. He know film producers, and I went to Madrid. That is where he lives, and he presents me Miguel Angel, who is the well, he's a film producer. He has worked on Hellboy, Pirates of the Caribbean, and well, his curriculum is extremely big. And I talked to him about the game we were doing because at that moment we were looking for funding, and as his task is to obtain funding for films. At the very beginning, we were just talking about possible ways to reach funding for the game. But he also told me, "Hey, I have read the script. I have read all the story. Have you ever thought about creating,
okay.
adapting this story into a film?" And obviously, I said no, but it will be great. You want me to work together in order to make this possible? and I said, well, we don't have money for the game, but we are starting to think about a different transmedia product. So yeah, I
Yeah.
told him that of course. And if everything we are working now on the idea is to adapt what happens in the game into a film. And 2 weeks ago we had the last meeting with the scripter, the movie scripter, in order
Oh.
he to have all the things clear of what we want it to appear on the film. And if everything goes well, in 2025 we will start the production of the
Wow.
film after the release of the game.
Yeah, and this is your first game in IP, so this is huge, a huge thing. So congratulations. Asphodel is also saying the same here on the chat. Now, I, I want to talk a little bit more about this because this the fact that you are an indie company, but you
Yeah.
are already, uh, working or trying to have the workflow of a AAA game, maybe not with the budget of a AAA, but you are already in the production or the thought of producing a movie about your game. So those are usually huge things from an indie perspective. Tell me a little bit more about this and what you feel it's the biggest challenge, apart from what you've already mentioned about getting the funds and everything.
The first week of the studio, or maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks, I was looking for the steroids of a video game studio, and there are no tricks, there are no magic, and I realized that I I need to think of the company as a not as a video games studio, um, like a software development company.
Okay.
Uh, why? We are doing happy software. That's the real thing. At the end, we have coders,
Yeah.
we have programmers, etc. But at the end, you can see, you can feel, you can. It's pretty similar to software development, but for
Hmm.
me better. And I assume that we need to work as a software company. So one of the first things that we made was to hire a team leader from a very big software company here, and he taught us how to work in a team, how to divide the project into tasks, how to work with agile methodologies, to
Oh.
have a sprint, to have dailies, and that's the first thing that we made in the studio to make the people learn how the big teams work. And obviously,
Yeah.
at that moment, I think we were or 5 people, but we have been working in that way from the very beginning. Now we are more
Yeah.
people, but we are doing in the same way.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that it needs to be like this if you want to finish the development of a game.
Yeah, I mean, a structure. I mean, most of the times, a good structure is something that some indie companies might have some struggles with. And if you implement all those techniques from day one, then things start working better and things start smiling your way. Now, you mentioned in another interview that your expectation would be to release the Occultist in the first quarter of 2024. Is it still the expectation?
No, no, no. First, why maybe that why was this my previous answer? Because we've been looking for funding. That's
Okay.
the reason since more than a year. and at the end, obviously, the Occultist is not a low budget game, but one of the things or the barriers that we had to pass is that, hey guys, you are looking for a lot of money for the first game. It's not the usual
Yes,
way a
exactly.
studio to start. Start with a small project, not a 4 years of development that is pretty sure that it's going to be the Occultist. So we have been delaying the release date.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we didn't find the funding we needed. So we had the calendar. If we reach the funding today, the game is going to be released on this day. As
Okay.
the months were passing, the release date
Of
was
course.
delayed, and what for now the only thing I can say is that on July of this year, 2022 or three, I don't know, the year 2023, we signed with a publisher, and we now have the funding to finish the game in the way we want to do it.
Hmm.
And what we can say now is that it will be released on the first quarter of 2025.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and there is a question here on chat, and going back to what we were talking about before, it's the possibility of the movie. Asphodel is asking if is the movie going to be in Spanish?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Not at the very beginning. It's
Okay.
we want it to be the biggest as possible. Um, the only thing maybe to do, well, a film can be recorded on Spain, or maybe to use Spanish actors or not. At the very
Okay.
beginning, is not the idea. We want it to be a worldwide production, and in Spain we have taxes, fiscal.
Yeah.
I think Portugal is pretty the same for filming stuff, but as far as I know, and it's not my task,
Okay.
but I think not, or at least not all the movie will be recorded in Spain.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Now, our time here together is coming to an end. So I wanted to still make you a question about if are you coming to the physical in the X event?
Yes, but not me.
Okay.
Yeah, why? Because we've been nominated to TIGA Awards
Oh.
on London in the same weekend, and we had to be there. But two of my teammates will be there, and people can test the game if it's possible. So yeah, we are going to be
Okay.
there on site.
And hopefully people can see and you can get the funding that you need, because award after award it's hard not to notice your game, and from what we can see now, is there
Yeah.
anything you still want to say about the occultists?
Well, the only thing is try to follow us on social media, because anything related to us, to the game, to events, to where we'll be, we will put on social media, on the studio, Pentakill Studios, and Instagram, or etc. etc. And sincerely, I hope that everyone likes the game, loves the game, because me and my team are working
Yeah.
extremely hard to do a double A game with a triple I budget and people.
Any last message you want to leave to everyone who's watching?
Sorry.
Is there any message
Ah,
that you want to leave to everyone that is watching us today?
Sincerely, go to IndieX, play the demo if it's possible, and yeah, if and also maybe someone has any question at me on LinkedIn or wherever, and I will be glad to resolve any
Da-
questions people may have.
David, it was my utmost pleasure to be joined here today with you in this fantastic conversation. Thank you so much once again.
Thanks to you for the opportunity. I've been very comfortable and looking forward to start the event, the physical event.
Looking forward to this. Though this session is over, there is more to experience here on this IndieX 2023 sessions. After a quick break, we are having Firebird. So stay tuned.
Voices, screams drawing me in. Better use the pendulum. When you have to face evil, fear is not an option.